Yeah, the other game, which I can't imagine we'll spend as long talking about,
No,
was
Wallabies Argentina.
a rather scrappy affair.
16-10 it ended up finishing.
The Wallabies
within one score.
The Wallabies were definitely good for the win.
Yeah. Well, sure, they had that kick. Tamua missed a kick to put it beyond doubt, which, well, what Tamua was doing there in substitute 10 mode, I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Wallabies were definitely... They looked better. They looked actually a little bit more organised and a bit more cohesive.
I had enjoyed, I think we said it in last week's show, just that the difference in selection was always going to make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
That's much closer to their first team.
Yes.
I think right now Lealefano is that little bit better than Bernard, without setting the place alight. But
no, well, their fulcrum is Beale.
Yes.
And Beale is at 15, looking much better for it.
And crucially on the wing, Karabetti I thought was great.
Yeah.
And a real electric,
a bit of
energy
spark.
into the team, and a finisher as well. And he was the guy who burst through the line on that strike play that earned Reece Hodge's try.
Yeah.
And it's just it is much better, much closer to what.
And I think Hodge on form holds his jersey as well. I think that's right. He's not the most scintillating attacking player in the world, but what he does is his job very well, and tends not to let you down as far as really sloppy mistakes are concerned. He's not the guy to make them. So with Beale there pulling the strings, taking that pressure off Lealefano, Genia obviously first choice 9 as well, speed of ball.
Genia had a really good game.
It makes much more sense of those centres, the Karevi and Kurandrani in the centres, which is still a bit direct for an Aussie centre pairing.
I still don't think that Kurandrani has played well in either of the first two games. Yeah. His is one jersey. You wanted Anmashi Cooper in the 13. I could see that. Yeah. Or even Reece Hodge.
Maybe.
I think I don't know that he's giving them anything in particular at all.
Whereas
Karevi is giving them.
Karevi's trying his heart out, really, but it's just the balance between the two. Even when they both, if they were to both play well, I'm still unsure as to whether it'll work at all as a pairing or partnership. But I think it's still very much unproven. One thing it is probably slightly more defensively robust than they had been in years gone by with the Foley-Beale axis in the midfield. They were yielding some yards to just your typical Delindy carry on that short line. They were just very susceptible to that, whereas they're less so now. But they're still... Where they're weakest is still kind of in the pack, which is what was so strange in this. They were dominant in the scrum against this Argentinian team.
Even James Slipper off the bench.
Against
Herrera.
I haven't seen him go forward in a scrum in years.
Yeah.
And that's very concerning. It's got to be a heartbreak for Ledesma in the coaching booth for Argentina. They just can't scrummage. Can't lock one down.
We had said after the Jags Crusaders game that the thing that Argentina needed to add to the game was an excellent 10 and an excellent tight head.
Mm-hmm.
And while it looked promising to see Figallo and Sanchez come in, neither of them have been great since they've come into the team. Now there is still time between now and the World Cup, but from Argentina's perspective this was definitely in the negative column because the standard of this game was not great.
Yeah, it was lower, especially it came just after the previous
being
one.
Played at a very slow pace. Even when it was speedy, it was not intense. It was just
chaotic.
Kind of crazy chaos plays, knock-ons everywhere, low stakes almost because there were errors just being unpunished, and then a fair few scrums, which is where the Wallabies took control of the game.
One stat I heard was that both teams had tackle completion rates in the 70s.
Yeah, there you go.
And both sides had that.
Yeah,
and that's a bit weak, to be honest. That's going to lose to either of the other two teams.
And so neither side setting the world alight defensively, and Argentina in particular, one of the things, they're just creating chances and getting very frantic and not finishing them.
Yeah.
And I think Australia exposed just a little weakness in their wide play. I mean, they like to get it into their wingers' hands. They make no secret about that. No. But they need the opportunity to maybe attack somewhere else, because what Australia did very well is number up, maintain their width, and just adopt a disciplined stance of never giving their winger the outside. It doesn't matter if it's a 2-on-1. I'll stay on my winger and you can go inside, and I'll leave whoever's on my inside to try and snatch you. Yeah. But I'm staying marking this winger, and it did work. And even when Mojano got the ball, it doesn't matter what deception he does, he's just going to try deception, I want to go outside. The Australian defensive winger who was on him, who was Reece Hodge, just knew he's going on the outside, I'm not going to show him the outside, and very often he would take it on anyway, and I think on a few occasions he went into touch.
Bundled into touch needlessly.
It was very soft. It was poor for large periods from Argentina. I thought.
Yeah, no, I'm inclined to agree. Mojano especially has had such a great season, but he has looked a bit flaky in both of these fixtures on the wing. I still don't know what the crack with Boffelli is. I don't know if he's injured or he's out for tactical reasons. Tuchel did play well. This is what I'm thinking. I wouldn't mind seeing him and Tuchel on the pitch at the same time.
Is that Boffelli on the wing then?
Yeah, maybe. But just it shores up that backfield a little bit as far as they can both cover that space very well. But I'm pretty convinced that they would gel pretty well. I think they have a similar kind of way of playing the game, even though Boffelli's bigger.
Yeah.
But Tuchel reads the game very well.
Slightly more technical.
He's silky, and that's why you could have him draw men and put Boffelli in. Boffelli, even when he plays on the wing, you never see him get bundled in to touch as softly as we saw with Mojano in that game.
No,
he never really, when the outside's not on, he will step in. But more often he'll try and deception beat you whichever side you're showing him. I wouldn't mind seeing that as a progression for it. I thought Diaz-Bonilla did all right when he came in for the last 10 minutes. I think
him and Ezcurra looked better than Cubelli and Sanchez.
Sanchez and actually Cubelli as well. Like Cubelli last week was annoying me as well for some loose box kicks, but Sanchez has not gelled with the Jaguares kind of team yet at all. It doesn't seem to be working. But also Cubelli is very frantic at the base. I think it's sometimes he's too quick, sometimes he's too slow, sometimes the pass is low, sometimes it's high. So the box kicks are frequently too long and not high enough. I don't
Sanchez know. He has that big bomb in him that he actually implemented sparingly this week, but very regularly last week. They sort of moved to it in the second half. When he was trying to stay ball in hand, it didn't look any better than what Diaz-Bonilla was giving the Jags. Yeah. And that is a concern. I took note during the game. I was just sort of bemoaning the fact that they're wanting a 10. Just imagining Owen Farrell playing in this team, because the accuracy of the skip passes and the decision making of which pass to give was very much off from Sanchez and whoever found themselves in that position. They just weren't sticking those passes and weren't finding the space with them, even when it was there to be found, in such a way that Owen Farrell definitely would.
Well, it's easy enough to say that this team would be much better with Owen Farrell at 10.
I'm not sticking my neck out too far here with that one either. No. But I'm just imagining how much better they'd be.
Yes. Oh well, I suppose it's a nice
with a player like that, and they just haven't got it at the moment, and it's a concern.
It is. Well, Sanchez's Stade Francais form is obviously not taking it, setting the world alight.
The game they're playing over there isn't great.
That's probably what it is, compared to the helter-skelter Jag stuff, and it sometimes looks vaguely Jaggish, but then other times
I'd like to give him a shot with Ezcurra. I think what you're saying about Capelli rings true. I don't know where Landajo is, obviously. It seems like he's gone. He doesn't seem to be in the picture at all, whether that's an injury or whatever it is.
Whatever,
but he was obviously great with Sanchez for years. Maybe giving Ezcurra the chance, just maybe a quicker, more solid 9 might be a better bet before just dropping Sanchez, who because we know Diaz-Bonilla has no boot, and
he's a weaker option than what we know Sanchez can bring. But what I've seen is just Sanchez just out of sync with the rest of the team around him.
But more is the point that they need to get in sync ahead of the World Cup.
Well, this is why what the Rugby Championship is for. They obviously have this week. They have a test against the
2 weeks.
They have 2 weeks against South Africa, which is pretty good prep considering they're going to have England and France.
England and France,
which is, I think, two tough.
Neither of those sides are going to be any more physical in the box.
Exactly, and arguably less, judging by what the Box were doing in Twickenham last year. Even though they lost that game, they were just running through the contacts. So that'll be a good, solid test for them. But they do need to find some way of gelling, and they need to execute a few tries, a few more than they're showing, because that's what their whole game is built on. And just when they're not executing, it looks so loose and so floundersome that it's very hard to get on board with. And it was very hard to see them winning this game from minute one. Really, you were just looking at it going the Wallabies are here to play, and the Argentinians are a bit absent. Couple that with a few horror plays like Lavanini getting his hands in all over the place, giving away loose penalties all the time.
Lavanini is a guy who could be I thought the replacement second row came on and did a creditable job, and I think Lavanini is a guy who, despite all the hype, he is quite physical, but he's just an absolute disaster when it comes to giving away penalties.
His discipline is shocking, and it's repeated. It is a repeated trend.
It's up there. Years now.
We give Kyle Sinclair some slack for his Six Nations and November form in that front. it's the same problem that Lavanini has. He's just seems to lose the head and go in, and just like some of the penalties he gives away would make you think that he's never even played the game before, because he's just in all kinds of horrendous positions.
He just loses the head sometimes, and he cost Argentina fairly dear. In the game. So I think he's a guy they could do with getting out of there, and hopefully they can play themselves into some kind of form. But right now, where it was looking in Super Rugby, they've taken
a few steps back,
especially in this game. They've taken the step back. They were.
I thought Facundo Issa was good value for his try. I thought
fair.
I thought he deserved
it.
Was good. It was. I also thought, what a weak try for Argentina to score 13-man line out maul job. Or was it 11? I think it was 11-man maul, and it's like reminds me of that Ireland game from years ago, long, 99, where they try and desperately with a 14-man line out to maul over and then drop the ball or something. But they actually made the play this time, which is a distinction with difference. But I don't think it speaks, especially in the 70th minute when you're so far down. I don't think it speaks to too much confidence in what you got going on when you're 5 metres out and you're trying an 11-man maul.
They couldn't get anything going for much of the game, and that was a shame for them. Pablo Matera good in defence, and Facundo Issa good all over. Those would be the two positives. And I actually thought Montoya at hooker, in the absence of Creevy,
did actually very well. That's true, which is good to know that they have some depth there as well behind Creevy, who doesn't really have 80 minutes properly in him anymore, but he does have very good 50-60 minute performances.
For Australia, it's a lot more positive. I wouldn't go like it was a win that was built on the back of a scrum. It was a win that was played at very little intensity. You wouldn't be going mad about it. Like
it was another win in Suncorp.
It was another win in Suncorp. I'd be curious to see how their scrum goes against the All Blacks, because the All Blacks have a very tidy scrum.
Yes,
that'll be telling, because this Argentinian scrum is sort of giving it away.
The best the Wallabies can hope for is parity in it.
Probably.
But I think that's probably what they'll get.
I liked the strike play off the scrum. It was a disguised screen that made the try. It was your standard screen move, except it was the blindside winger again.
Yes,
off the back of the scrum,
adding an extra man,
the back end to the screen, so Creevy ran the short ball, and Argentina just didn't react quick enough to him entering the line from the blindside wing. Didn't cover the space. The inside centre just got stuck on Creevy. Opened up a massive hole, and then from there, as the Wallabies will do, they fixed the 3-on-2 sharply and
gave it's like
that was a very good set piece Michael Cheika try, and a bit of a throwback to the Australia that we have loved in brief spurts over the last 4 years.
They still show flashes of it. And, definitely when they get their tactics right, and in terms of a strike move, it can be some of the prettiest stuff ever. Like, think of some of those moves they pulled on England in the last World Cup were absolutely glorious. The little inside out Beale and Foley combining kind of stuff. It was great.
Again with the disguised blindside.
Exactly. It's isolating kind of laziness around the fringes with that one. But they were also doing things like isolating, sitting people down inside, and then opting to throw the massive looping ball over the top, because they knew the defence was narrow. Six Nations defence narrow. Flick it over to the wing, you'll be fine. Even if it has hang time, it's fine. He's a good thinker in the game on that front. And to be honest, this backline had looked sharper, looked more of a balance that's capable of executing there. Where last week they could have tried that move, and it would have gone arseways somewhere along the line, because there was just
Will Genia is a huge factor as well. I thought the whole game was a lot quicker, and he was running the show for large bits. I mean, he kind of gave Leila Fano a bit of an armchair ride. They were playing a lot off 9, as they were last week, except it was quicker and sharper, and he played sharp. For pretty much the whole game. So there was positives there. The Aussie game needs to be about finding as many tries as is humanly possible, especially in this new mould of defensive footy that we're seeing. The Wallabies need to be trying to buck that trend and find tries. That's their only path to success. It's just to lightening the opposition with some tries.
That it feels like that's their only avenue to it. But
totally.
it was a perfectly legitimate one, and it's in keeping with how they would want to play the game. You were right in saying, like, Nick White is a much improved player, playing it straight up in Europe for quite a while. Probably was worthy of a shot, but if you're picking him with Foley, and then Beale's not on the pitch, and you're going, like, where are the tries going to come from?
Like, he's like a forward-oriented club side.
Yes,
against
the Springboks, who are going to monster you in all those collisions. And even with that beautiful Teckerful kick that he end over end kind of rubber that went the length of the field into the corner, which was beautifully executed. The Springboks just exited effortlessly from the line out, and then it was actually, I think they broke up the other end, and the next score came from shortly thereafter for them.
Yeah.
It was just like it was playing the wrong game, trying to do the wrong things, whereas this mould of team, this selection with Beale as a fulcrum at fullback, similar to what we were saying about the All Blacks with getting Bowden in there, taking some of the pressure off him, but allowing him the space and time to do what he does. Same is true for Beale. Beale is their catalyst for everything.
He was looking kind of nice, like a leader as well. I think there was one moment, I can't remember the context of it, but somebody had a bad knock on. It might have been Kepu or someone like that. Maybe it was someone even younger. It might have been Tupou.
Right.
And Beale just came over and gave him a pat on the head and a smile and a cuddle.
That's what you need.
And like that was just like, so he's like, he gets a lot of stick for being the sort of loosey goosey dude that he is. But in actuality, he is his own type of leader, and he embodies the personality that the Wallaby team need to embody. It's loose, it's fun, it's sharp, it's skillful. It looks for tries.
It needs to be more Beale, less Nick White. You know, in terms of
and I think they've landed on a pretty decent backline selection. Their pack is
you're still drawing one question over Curran, or is it
Curran-Drani at 13 is still a
the
question
only
mark.
loose question mark, but I think the structure now is safer. Like Beale was at 12 before, but I actually think 15 makes more sense for him now with Folau gone. They need to shore up their centre so they're not vulnerable to that crash ball from Delindy or whomever. Well, like in the World Cup, who will it be? Wales. It'll be Hadley Parks coming crashing
Jay Davis
or Jay Davis.
That's why the Curran-Drani matchup doesn't match up well.
No.
Is he going to shut down Jay Davis? No. So they got to fix that before the Wales game.
Yeah.
We just landed on it.
Yes, it's glad we were thinking that. It's that's definitely true. Yeah. But with Karevi in it in an inside centre, it means there's a bit more robustness. Yeah, it's less soft in that particular area. Yeah. But they still need to tinker with it a little bit while. Yeah.
Up front they had a good scrum, but outside of that they weren't great.
Yeah, I
still think Michael Hooper didn't have a great game.
No, he hasn't been his normal kind of very energetic kind of Duracell bunny self. He's just.
Are we to expect Pocock back? Do you know that? I mean, I haven't heard that he's out for the World Cup. No, so I assume I would have heard that. But
he's maybe being wrapped in cotton wool, waiting for the World Cup. Ideally, he's at number 8 for them. That's
I like Issa. 6. I think Issa Naisarani at 8, Pocock at 6, Hooper at 7. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, this is what's still in my fanciful head where I'm bringing Fardy and Skelton, and then I'm
but you're not bringing Fardy
at 6, and then I'm putting Skelton at 5.
Of course you're doing
and then
that.
I'm putting Rory Arnold at 4.
All of a sudden they become a contender for the tournament, but they're not doing that.
Yeah, I don't understand them.
Yeah.
So that's where my head's at.
Still,
like, so ideally Pocock's obviously at 8 with Scott
Fardy
inside.
Lighting it up in the Pro 14, my friend.
No to that, even though he's playing for Leinster, our team, which is great, but it's like he should so be at the World Cup. He's been awesome the last 2 seasons. But like Pocock obviously would make a huge difference to everything, and he always does. He literally adds around 15% to any Wallaby performance just by being there. I remember even that the tour Ireland had a couple of years ago in the first game, he was an absolute nuisance, a nightmare. He shut down everything.
Completely won the game for them, as he's done many an occasion. So hopefully they can see at least one of their world class players up in the forward pack return and make it more of a contest when they do play Wales. But that was a good win for them. I think they'll be happy with it. I think it was a necessary win for them ahead of Bledisloe.
Definitely. Like, it would have been like potentially shocking had the Argentinians turned up and lit it up, and then suddenly they were 0 from 2 and going into back-to-back Bledisloe tests. It would have been a very weak start to a World Cup kind of year and campaign. So whereas they do have something to build on. They have a win at Suncorp. Apparently that was the best ever attendance for that fixture, even though it looked pretty dismal. But that's one thing.
They don't show up for Argentina, apparently.
Don't cry for me, Argentina. I don't know, but genuinely a good win. Cheika will be glad to get it under his belt, and they can go and try and challenge these All Blacks, who are not infallible, but they'll definitely need to be bringing a lot more attacking dynamism to break down what the All Blacks have in defence, which is just such a robust and understanding kind of all the space on the pitch and what they're covering. I find it very hard to see this current Aussie side finding tries based on the form from this game, so they're going to need to step it up again. Need to get Beale and get Genia playing at that same level, but get Beale linking more with his outside men. They need to find a way to get around or through this All Black side. Yeah, I don't know if they will, but that's the challenge.
We'll see. We'll see.
Thank you very much for watching that video. If you're new here, please like and subscribe down below, and leave a comment as well, because we enjoy the chat and conversation. Thank you.